Welcome back to the Orange Mailbox. And now, part 2 of our Minute with the Mayor, Mayor Bill Rock.
It's easy for people to fall into the trap of we've always done it that way.
Well, complacency.
Absolutely.
And they get used to the status quo.
It's good that things are happening like that.
You come in and rock the boat.
Yep, rock the boat. Yeah, because that's what we.
That's your new campaign slogan
Yeah.
4 years from now.
Yeah. Solid as a rock.
We can play the song, Rock the Boat.
Yeah, rock the boat. We can change it to a V.
Was there any kind of emotional aspects involved with this hard-fought campaign that you did, going out every evening? I know you had a lot of support from Sandy stuff, but it had to wear on you a little bit. I mean, that's a lot of work to do that.
It was a lot of work, and I had a good partner with me, Karen Wood,
Yes.
who was a Republican, and me as an independent. And when Karen decided that she wanted to run with me, she had no idea what she was getting into. So
Get your tennis shoes out, Karen.
I said, we might go through a couple pair. And so there would be times she would ask Sandy, you got concessions? You guys going to the lakes this weekend? Is Bill going too? And Bill would go, no, we're going to knock on some doors, Karen. But it was, I mean, we worked in the heat, the humidity, rainstorms. She goes, it's raining. I said, well, that's good because people are probably home.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got umbrellas. Come on.
Yep.
And we had a lot of people that would come out. It was kind of like we would put on the social media where we've been, where we're planning on going the next day. And we would thank somebody for having bottles of water for us, like you guys did here for me today. And the next day we'd be going down the road and I couldn't get enough bottles. I mean, everybody wanted to give me a bottle of water or give her a bottle of water. And we drink it because I'm telling you, some of those days were 90 degrees and humidity was terrible. And as quick as we was drinking it, it was sweating out. But you still had to hit those towns. You still wanted to talk to the people. And what was good about that too, they're home. They're in their air conditioning. And we had people say, hey, come on in the air, sit down just for a few minutes and let's talk in here. And it was nice to hit those air-conditioned homes and the water. And I'm telling you, I couldn't be more thankful to the people in Gas City that treated us with respect as we went door to door and helped us with water and air conditioning and porches sometimes when it was raining. Have a seat, sit down.
Sure.
Rain will stop.
That had to be encouraging, though, to have people go by and bring you water like he's running a marathon or something. You know, they do run the water out there to you, but that had to have been encouraging. It would have been to me.
Oh, definitely it was. And then it got to a point where people were going by and honking, rock the vote. It was, it was very encouraging. And it seemed like the longer the campaign went and the closer it got to election, we had more of those. It was like a momentum building, and you could feel it. You know, June was a little slower. End of June was a little better. July, after our parade, I mean, I couldn't believe our parade for the 4th of July. I put on social media, I need volunteers with golf carts show up for the parade. We had over 300 people show up for the parade. It was called the Rock Parade. I mean, it was, and it was just, it made me feel really good. As a matter of fact, I can get goosebumps right now thinking about the volunteers that came out. And without those people, going as an independent, you had to have 75 signatures. I hit social media that I needed 75 signatures. I had 350 people, and they had to be Gas City registered voters, get a hold of me within an hour, come by my house. So I knew right then we had a really good shot.
Even in this technological world and everything, people are just something about going to their door and shaking their hand. And like I said before, grassroots stuff, that's just, people like that still. Even though all this technology going on Facebook and everything, people still liked it that you came to their door.
They like that one-on-one, absolutely.
They saw you walking down the street or, doing what you was doing and tying it all in together. And it was neat to watch. You know, me living in Marion, I really couldn't be involved in voting for you, that type thing. And with all that, how do you plan on taking all this concessions, B&B restaurant, and all this business background, and even working in Carry Services? We hadn't even talked about that, the time you spent with Carry Services. How do you plan on taking all that and incorporating that into what you do every day as mayor?
I think that's the easy part, Logan, because with the business background, and we're working with Carry Services for 9.5 years. It was easy to pick and choose which parts worked for me, which parts worked for Carry Services, which parts worked for the concession, what worked when I was hod carrying. So you take bits and pieces of each one and start molding them together. And the good thing about Carry Services is the fact that I had several different titles, but more of a promotional person, because I would go to golf outings. I'd go to chamber ribbon cuttings. I would bring in work to our sheltered workshop at their Carry Service so the workers would have something to do. Was able to place people out into the community to work. But in the meantime, while I was doing that, I'm meeting all these people that own businesses. I'm picking their brain of what made you successful. How did you do this? And you just kind of put that in and say, if we work a plan and we stay on that plan, things will come together. And that's what we've been doing. I got a little upset the other day at the Economic Growth Council. Somebody mentioned about how nobody has approached anybody in the county in 5 years. I said, wait a minute here. Stop right there. Just in the 7 weeks that we've been in office, we've already made over a dozen phone calls and invited people in. We were landing them. And I said, I know there were some projects that the past mayor had going on that didn't turn out, but I know that they were approached. I know that we had contact. So you don't know exactly what's going behind the scenes and how you're putting the game. You're going to hear a lot more no's than you are yeses. It's just like fishing. How many times you casting before you catch that first fish? And I kind of learned that through the outdoor world, sitting in a tree stand. Okay, I haven't seen anything in an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or maybe that day. But you knew that if you went back and you were persistent and you didn't give up, it's going to happen. Same way with fishing. You're throwing lines out there, and finally you're going to nail that fish. And sometimes you get lucky and nail several. And so that's what we're hoping that down the road with some of the plans we have out there, some of the fillers we have out there, and we're wanting to make a CD where we can send like a little 3-minute CD to kind of show our city and how it's growing, that we're going to catch a lot more fish.
That's a great idea.
So going off of that, what you just said, tell us some of your short-term goals, something that you want to accomplish maybe in the next several months. I know we've talked some of it. And then some of your long-term goals, something that you foresee, different places in your vision.
One of the big things I want to do, and we're getting ready to start that, is something for the seniors to do. Every second and fourth Wednesday now, we're going to give that to Hans Hall for seniors. So it'll be bingo, puzzles, card playing. Give the seniors something to do at least twice a month. As the spring gets here, we got a pickleball court. Get the seniors down there, get teams playing that. I've got a guy that's going to run that for me. And today I had a lady from York House say that she wanted to get involved with it. She's going to bring some of her seniors there. So that's one of the short terms that I wanted to do.
Have you ever played pickleball?
I did, because I put it down.
That is fun.
It is fun.
Never played it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Never even heard of it.
I don't know the rules real well, but the ones that do, like Burl Atkinson.
Burl and Debbie Atkinson, holy
they
cow.
will call you on whatever you're doing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but
Anything
pickleball
like
is fun.
Be good at.
Yeah. So those are, and then a training center. I'd like to, and I'm working with the school and Ivy Tech and some of the colleges are putting together something. We need skilled tradespeople. And we've got to get the electricians and the plumbers and the carpenters. We've got to have these kids ready to go. Not everybody's college.
Right.
So when they come out of high school, I'm hoping that in the next couple of years, we'll have a nice little training center where they can get prepped to go out. Modern technology for the ones that do want to move on. We've got to work with Ivy Tech and Indiana Wesleyan and Taylor putting a program together, because everything's going computers. Everything's social media.
Right.
So we've got to get these kids ready for somebody we might pull in. I could go talk to all the computer companies, all the biomed companies, and talk to them, and they're going to ask me, do you have a workforce for us? And right now we don't, but we're going to, and that's a long-term goal. That's a goal that I want to see these colleges come together and work with us where we can keep our kids here. I truly believe in starting younger, working with another program that is kind of top secret. We're working with younger kids now that maybe have a rough life, that are used to seeing their parents or their life of taking. getting this. We want to get them out of that and start working with them. And I truly believe if you get a kid young and get him involved, that when they become adults, they'll take ownership and they'll be like you and Lamar and myself and want to see improvements go. Mm-hmm. We've got to get that. This is for, this is free mentality away. And so I want to put a program together for that too.
You got to teach them how to fish.
You got to teach them how to fish.
That's exactly right.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to. Yep. So those are some of the long-term goals. And once you get those met, then I think you're going to see the modern technology, the biomed companies. I mean, I was real happy when Amanda Leffler started Leffler Academy out there, getting nursing involved in high school, where when these kids come out of high school, they're going to have LPNs or RNs, and so they can go into the medical field. But now we've got to, we're going to have that workforce. Now we've got to be able to attract, a biomed company that they can utilize their services, or they're going to move away. And we want to keep them.
I hated to see Kmart leave.
I did too.
But that space has been filled with, was it Walnut Creek Outdoor?
Yeah, Walnut Creek Outdoors.
I haven't been in there yet, but I'm sure it's going to be like a Cabela's or it's on a smaller scale.
It's a smaller scale. I haven't either. I'm waiting for the grand opening to go in. But I think the main thing is what I've been told, and again, I haven't viewed it, that it's more of a shooting archery type. It's not quite got all the stuff of a smaller Cabela's.
Right.
But that might be Jimmy and Carrie's goal down the road. And I haven't spoke with Jimmy and Carrie about it, but I will. As it warms up, this is one thing. I'm going to get my tennis shoes back on again. I'm going to walk to every business, and I want to find out what their plans are for Gas City. What can we do to make your business a success? What can you do to make Gas City a success? And I want to share ideas with all the businesses in town. It'll take a little time, but it also gets me out walking, getting a little exercise in. But I want to talk to Walnut Creek Outdoors and Caleb Crandall and just all the businesses down through there and pick their brains.
That's what good visionaries do. They go talk to people because the people are what matters.
Yeah, and they're going to tell me what we can do to help them, and in the meantime, they can also tell me what they can do to help us. And maybe we can put a plan together to make everything work. We don't want anybody to leave. We want to grow their business, and we want to help them as much as we can.
What's going to come about of the old McDonald's? Do you know?
I do.
Are you allowed to tell?
I am. And it's kind of disappointing because I spoke to McDonald's corporate, and I had about 3 or 4 restaurants that were interested in possibly doing. They told me no burgers. And that's fine because one of them was a Chinese place, one of them was a Mexican place, one of them was a sit-down place. So I go back and talk to the Chinese place, and she said, no, they told me that they won't do Chinese. I said, what? So I get back on the phone. I call McDonald's again. We've decided not to do any restaurants. So I'm thinking, okay, that's probably going to sit there for a long time. I can understand the no competition for burgers, but not something Oriental, not something that's off their menu. But right now they're saying no restaurants. So my thoughts are, if going back to the nursing field or whatever, if I can find maybe a nurse practitioner or somebody that may want to take a McDonald's building and then turn it into a small medical facility, especially with Leffler Academy doing what they're doing, she may have some students go there. But you have to have a nurse practitioner to do that. But McDonald's won't lease it; they will only sell it. So they're going to make it difficult.
Could that building be turned into like a small event center or a youth center or something, or is that even?
No, I think it could. Just get, finding out the price, and if somebody has that interest, first of all, we got to find out what McDonald's even wants for the building.
It's going to come down to dollars.
Yeah. It
may sit there a long time because they want too much for it.
Yeah.
Hope not.
Let's hope not either. I mean,
become an eyesore if it is.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I don't know if they're waiting for the auditorium or the civic center going, and then maybe thinking that something may pop in at that time, because we've had interest on some of the lots going around that. A couple restaurants, steakhouses. As the auditorium gets going, I think you're going to see a lot of things come around that too.
What is the location of that auditorium? Where are you looking at?
Do you know where the point is? Right behind McDonald's there. Yeah. So it's going to be towards the point. We're cutting the street through Schaefer there now.
Right there where 22 and Olinger Road meet.
Correct. Yeah, so it's going to go right there, and
Okay.
yeah, it's once they get it rolling and bring in some it's going to be like a Honeywell Center. It'll really bring in some different types of businesses, I believe.
When are they going to break ground for that?
Well, it got pushed back a little bit here. We had to make sure we got all the lease agreements done right with the school. The contract wasn't done quite right, so we just redid the contract. It was made with the council, which you can't do that legally, so it's got to come back and be made with the mayor, which we should have that when I get back from out of town, that I'm going to go visit some people next week, like a little vacation time. But we planned it a year in advance. But we should have that all worked out then. But they pushed the bids back until April. We were going to get them in February. Now it's April. So I'm hoping that we will get the bids in April, which means we'll accept a bid in May, which means they'll probably break ground in June or July. And then it's probably going to take 4 to 5 months to get it constructed and ready to go.
That'll bring some money into Gas City for sure.
Absolutely, it should. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What's the plans for the auditorium? Is it going to be all music? Is it going to be multiple things?
It's going to be multiple. It's going to be the school's going to use it. Of course, the city is building it. The school is going to operate it, so they'll use it for some of their school events. But then there are also going to be music brought in, kind of like the Honeywell Center. There could be comedians. There's going to be bands. They're talking to a few people that, and I'll just use this one, not saying this is it, but like live entertainment sometimes get your performers for you. Then, of course, you're going to have the concessions that will be, I talked to Gonzo about who does Ball State. Of course, that isn't my decision, but I passed those names on to the superintendent and assistant superintendent. But Gonzo gave us the name of who Ball State does their concerts and their football games and basketball games. And, so they'll have somebody that will be able to step in and do the concessions. And then if they get a group, whoever does Honeywell or Brown County or whatever, that brings in the entertainment. And then therefore, I think they sell the tickets that way. And, but I think it's going to be a very good event for communities all around us.
How big is that going to be? What's the capacity?
1,200 seating.
1,200.
So it's a little smaller than Honeywell, but not a lot.
Not much, no.
Not
So
much.
that's not something that Concerts in the Park might be able to snag onto every now and then.
Well,
Rain out days.
I've heard talk of that,
Yeah.
but again, I don't want to speak for Dennis Roach or
Right.
the school on that. But yeah, I mean, I've heard, that's what people are saying. Maybe they could use it for the rainouts, as Logan mentioned.
I heard a rumor, and I don't remember where I heard this, but where the old Psalm Sherway used to be and the drugstore there, somebody told me that they're going to raise that building and put something else there.
Well, I don't know if something else would go there, and I haven't been in contact, but I've also heard the rumors too that Dollar General would be relocating to where the bowling
That's what I
alley
heard.
is.
Yeah.
Again, they haven't been in contact with me or anybody in the redevelopment committee. That's the rumor that's going on. But one time there was a rumor that Dairy Queen was going into the old McDonald's.
Yeah.
I heard an ice cream. I heard Sophie's was moving down there, and but none of that is true either. So
We need a Chick-fil-A.
I've heard that a lot too. Matter of fact, out there, Miles Leffler has he's got a few things going well out there. Where In-Laws and Outlaws in.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's talked to Chick-fil-A, but I don't think they bid on anything yet. But
Well, the colleges have them, so
yeah, Miles has got a lot of plans that I think once he gets rolling with them. I'm having lunch with him and Lori Elston tomorrow, talk about a few things that he might have on his role, see if we can help him out as a city. But Miles is a thinker. He does a really good job with In-Laws and Outlaws, the
Yes, he
Leffler
does.
Academy. He just built up some buildings there. And so be interested to see what he's got to say tomorrow.
Is there any plans in the future of doing any kind of continuation of renovating downtown Gassy? I know the part there where they closed the road off by the post office, and they really got that looking cool there with that clock and arch there. I believe it's an arch.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to have a downtown committee or anything like that?
There is. We've been in talks with Okra, which is an Okra grant, and it's for a facelift of the city. She's on maternity leave right now, so that's kind of where the went. But when I get back, I've got a grant writer that's going to come in and sit down and talk to me. how they get paid. I think when I Googled it, it showed like you pay a grant writer from 1% to 5% of what the grant is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get somebody in there that's very educated on how to write the grants and how to get them, and talk to this lady and see if we can't get some grants out. But facelift in our downtown would be a thing we'd like to do, and kind of just uniform everybody together if we can. And the promenade is where we're going to hold our first Fridays in May and June. So we will use the promenade, that street a little bit, because it never gets used.
No.
So we're going to have our bands there, have our concessions in the alley, use maybe the library for the crafters. And I'm meeting with Janelle tomorrow, her fund services, and see if we can look and put some of the bouncy things there in the utility office. But kind of do a May, June, then the concerts in the park kick off. So it gives us something to do downtown, and then down to the park and show off our city, and then also show off our park throughout the summer.
Are you going to give tours of your house since you live down by the park?
You know, I'm out on that deck almost every night, so people are welcome to stop by. Something that worked out well when I was campaigning, and I'm going to do this probably about 3 times this year, is called a campfire chat. So I plan on doing it, whether it's at the park or whatever, but I think it's a more comfortable setting for people. Come on down there in your shorts or whatever, bring some hot dogs, bring whatever, and we'll sit there and we'll build a fire. And we'll, in a comfortable atmosphere.
I like that.
Questions, as opposed to having to come to City Hall and feeling like, I've got to stand up, I've got to say my name, I've got to get in front of the mic. Let's just do it right there where we're, got a little fire going on. You're comfortable, and fire the questions away. If I can't answer them, I'll call Lamar or you, Logan, and we'll get those things answered.
If people feel that the mayor's accessible, then you'll serve till you're 148 years old. So,
well, I plan on being transparent. And I think anybody that knows my family or myself, we are very transparent. We are around the community. We like to give back to the community. We do it with fundraisers, or, we also do, have our concessions as a professional business. I mean, Sandy, I should give her the credit. I set them up, tear them down, but she's the backbone of that. And, I get a lot of the credit because my name's on there, but
she's phenomenal, by the way.
She's great.
Oh,
She's
my
great.
gosh.
She sure is.
If I was Mormon, I'd have like 4 more of her and about 10 more concessions.
Yeah,
You'd be living in Utah, too, next to the Osmonds.
Right there. They wouldn't even know what a tenderloin is.
I've heard it said that you're a scratch golfer.
Well, somebody lied to you.
Oh, that was a rumor. What? Sorry, Lamar was talking about rumors.
Yeah, so there's a rumor. I play golf. I tinker with it. I will brag on a couple tournaments that we've won, but I can't give me all the credit except for one of them. But the Blue Blazer that's out in Meshinga, I played with Dr. Bobby Jack, the surgeon, and the first year that we played together, we were fortunate enough to win the Blue Blazer, and that's one of the biggest tournaments in Grant County. Gets a big flag. I mean, there's a trophy, a big glass trophy.
That's a tough course, too.
Very tough course. And
you retired your clubs after winning that?
No, I did not. I should have, but no, I played where I got beat up several times after that. But then I went to Michigan with a group of guys, and I've won the Gull Lake, Michigan champion.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because Dr. Raj Meyer was one of them there. And, of course, I was probably a little cocky from winning that and coming in. I said, where does the champion sit when they come in here run this clubhouse? He goes, well, we got a place right outside, right on a stool that you can go out there and sit on and do it. So he's a pretty funny guy, Dr.
Right out
Raj
by the
Meyer.
Porta Johns.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. So you can go right on out there and sit. So
It's funny.
I like playing it, and the reason I like playing is because you get to play with. I don't do it for the competitiveness. I mean, yeah, I want to shoot as good as I can, but I do it for meeting with people, the camaraderie of talking while we're out there. And golf isn't a hobby as you guys play. You know this. You don't go out there and say, hey, I'm going to go play a round of golf and come back in an hour. I mean, you're talking 4.5, 5 hours later.
Yeah.
So it's a long hobby.
Especially a tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, you're a cigar aficionado. I've heard.
I like cigars.
You're how did Dennis say it? He's a cigar enthusiast.
Yeah. Who said that?
Dennis
Dennis.
Roach.
Okay, yes.
What's your favorite cigar?
Well, I like the Monte Cristo Media Noches. Matter of fact, I just got some today because we're taking off on vacation next week, and it's probably a habit I shouldn't do, but everybody's got to have a bad habit. I don't drink. I try to exercise, and I don't inhale the cigar. Now I'm sounding like a true politician here, but when I'm out fishing or golfing or whatever, I like to have a cigar.
Sure.
And it may take me 3 hours to finish the cigar, and but I just like to sit and I don't know, it relaxes me.
It is relaxing.
Yeah, and I don't encourage people to jump on and smoke cigars, but I enjoy them.
It's relaxing.
It is very relaxing.
So it's the Monte Cristo what?
Media Noche.
He buys them by the case.
They're like a 7-inch cigar and a 58 band. They're a nice cigar. I'll have to bring you one.
I've had one. They do taste pretty good.
Yeah, they're
dark
nice.
wrapper on it.
It's
Maduro
dark.
wrapper.
Yeah, it's a darker cigar. It's a little bit medium strong.
Okay.
Not quite the strong, but yeah, it's I know Lamar likes the lighter, and I think you do too. And
Yes.
those are good cigars too. For something that I've just got used to that. Media Noche or Partagas, I like that too. But
Yeah, those aren't bad.
yeah, but I love the smell of a cigar.
Yeah.
And my wife hates it. So again, that's that salt and pepper or pork and beans or what is it?
I like the smell of it when I'm smoking it, but the next day,
Oh yeah.
that's the stink.
Yeah, that's you got to have a cigar when it don't leave that aftertaste.
Yeah.
And you had a good cigar.
Mm-hmm.
If it leaves an aftertaste, then you need to try a different brand. But that's as far as I am on that. I just love doing it when I'm fishing or golfing or just sitting around chit chatting.
You get to do a lot of fishing?
Not as much as I used to. With the concessions, and especially last year, I played golf maybe 4 times. I fished maybe twice because we were knocking on doors almost daily. But so we didn't even get to the lakes that much. And we've got a little trailer on Webster. But I plan on doing more golfing and fishing this year in my spare time as opposed to knocking on doors, although I will be.
There won't be a lot of spare time.
No. Right now it's been pretty busy. It's been a good busy.
Speaking of fishing and golfing, how many years did your show run?
20 years. We started out locally, as I mentioned, Indiana Outdoor Ventures, and then Inga. Then Duke and I spread out. I took it Outdoor USA, contacted the Sportsman Channel and also the Outdoor Channel. It went national, hitting into about 40 million homes.
Wow.
Yeah, had a
Didn't
great
know
time.
that.
Yeah. So it was pretty nice to get trips. Take off. I mean, Newfoundland, I went there and caribou hunted, loved it. Alberta for a bear hunt, Mexico for some fishing, duck, quail.
Wow.
So you was doing all of it then, not just fishing. It was hunting. It was just outdoors.
Everything. And we even did some extreme sports, some whitewater rafting. When the coal mines were going bad, West Virginia, they went real heavy into the tourism. And I got a phone call from their tourism department that Governor Wise at the time was going to do an educational outdoor program for kids to get them involved in, if they did well in grades, they got to go fishing or hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I cut what I was doing, went down, did a program, helped him put the educational program together for the kids that I believe is still running. He goes, West Virginia would like to sponsor your show. For coming down here.
Wow.
And that was probably the big first sponsor I got. That it's really the only sponsor I needed at the time. I mean, the way he came through. But I had to do 7 programs there a year. And so that's where the whitewater rafting came in, the trout fishing, fly fishing, turkey hunting. But there's a lot to deer hunting. It was just a good state.
So you pretty much traveled the world with your show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was one of those things that I loved every minute of it. But when I got out of it with grandkids and stuff, and I had a 7-year no compete after I sold it, when I could do it again, I got the grandkids, sleeping in my own bed. Not that I didn't mind going to the nice cabins they put me in and stuff, but it was home. I'm back to where I could just relax. It sounds funny, but your love for the fishing and hunting started diminishing. So when I'd get home and somebody'd say, hey, let's go up to lakes and fish. I've got something else to do. Or the deer hunting slowed down here because I was doing it every day.
Yeah.
It became a job. it was a fun job, but it became a job to where it wasn't my hobby any longer.
Did you get your own cameras and do the crew and do just from the very beginning?
Absolutely. Inga, of course, had it right at first and was doing a VHS, which is the big half-inch tape, which is like a home video. But when we started sending them out, because I started thinking, we don't have to do this local. So I'd send them to, one of them was Indy 23, and I'd say, no, you need to upgrade here. So I didn't take it as a negative. I took it as they didn't mind the program, but we just didn't have the professional stuff to do it. So we continued to upgrade, and finally we got to where we was doing it on digital, and that's when the Outdoor Channel, actually I was editing a program because they just accepted the show on the national show, and my dad passed away of a heart attack that same day that I sent it in. So, but yeah, I was putting it together. They accepted the program, and I was editing when they come running over to the house and said, hey, you need to get down there. But it was fun. And then a meeting
Lord, you've met so many people, famous people.
Yeah. And I think one that Lamar wanted to talk about a little bit was Randy White, Hall of Famer, Dallas Cowboy. We did it's called Angler's Choice Magazine, was having a Make-A-Wish program at Lake Fork. But I get a phone call. Of course, the shows went national now, and I had a lot of my friends that like to pull my chain, joke, or whatever. So I get this phone call, and Brandon happened to answer the phone too. Guy's on the other, he goes, hey, this is Lud Denny. Okay. I'm Randy White's agent. We want you to come to Texas and promote this blade clacker in this Make-A-Wish tournament at Lake Fork. And I said, you know what? Let me think about this. I go, if it was Walter Payton, I'd probably do it. But I said, I'm not. And Randy White jumps on the phone and starts talking. Then I knew, wait a minute, this is for real. And Brandon was on there. He's a Cowboy fan. So he's just like, you got to be kidding me. So we set up a time to go down there in June. I took Brandon with me, and he's still kicking himself in the rear end for this one. We're filming these programs, going through Lake Fork and fishing and just having a good time with Randy for about 4 days on the Fourth Quarter Ranch. And one night I'm finishing up editing, and Randy comes in. He goes, hey, I'm going to take your boy to Dallas with me. I said, okay. I mean, he's with some bodyguards and some big dudes, and Brandon turned it down.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, and he's still saying, "Oh no." It was one of those. But so Randy got into team roping, and he says, "I want you to team rope." And I said, "Randy, I've never." He goes, "Well, I'm gonna put you on a saddle. You're gonna rope this steer by the horns, and then I'll get him by the feet, and then we'll stretch him out." He goes, "Now you got to hang on, because once you get that bull, he'll pull you off that saddle if you're not hanging on." So first of all, I'm trying to hit the horns on this thing, and this is just on his fence post. And so he goes and doing something. Hell, I ain't hitting that thing, so I'm going to go down there and move it. He carried it out in one hand and slapped it down. I had to drag it like 3 feet back to me so I could finally start hitting it. Well, somebody upstairs was watching over me, thank God, because we got the biggest Texas storm that night, and he had a ranch that was probably the size of the Grant County Ford Range grounds. It had the opening gate. It's called the Fourth Quarter Ranch. He had this where you go out and lasso and practice it, but it got all muddy, so we couldn't do it. So
you were just so heartbroken, weren't you?
Oh my gosh, thank you. Because I'm thinking, how am I going to lasso this cow and then also stay on top of the horse at the same time? So it would have been an interesting show. People were probably going to be kicking that, watching me get drugged through the mud, but it didn't happen. So
there goes Bill.
And there he goes. And so we fished together, put a program together. Next year, the Angler's Choice Magazine, Johnny Davis and Randy invited me again. Went down and stayed there. And then Randy and I are starting. We still stay in contact a little bit right now, but he was doing the arm wrestling in Vegas, and we were out at Lake Mead doing some fishing. Randy invited me in there to sit behind the scenes at ESPN during this arm wrestling contest. So we hung out with him there in Vegas and got to watch the arm wrestling as it was going on behind the scenes, of course, not with the ESPN people, but it was interesting. And then, of course, Randy got into, they used to have the boxing, and he won the whole thing. I mean, knocked Joe Klecko out, and he went through it. But Randy was a 5th degree black belt. He was 6'4", 275 pounds. He could bench press 500 pounds, and he played his last year with a broken neck. And he's in the Hall of Fame, number 54. So, I mean, he was just one good, won a Super Bowl. We got to try a Super Bowl ring on.
Oh, wow.
Brandon, too. And it was really neat.
Or had a size 38 finger.
Oh, my gosh. You could put Brandon, could put him over both of them. And and one really nice guy. I mean, it was like us just sitting in here. That's how he treated us, and got to know him more and more. And now he's aged a little bit. Football wasn't, I mean, he's banged up. But
yeah,
we were riding in his truck one day, riding along. All of a sudden, the phone starts ringing in his truck. He looks at it, throws it over he goes, you answer it. I go, who is he? He goes, it's my ex-girlfriend. Hello? No, he's not here. Who's this? And he just, but yeah, it's some good people. So I met Mark Fowler over in Marion. We did an alligator tagging. He had access to Burt Reynolds' ranch when he was married to Lonnie Anderson. And so Mark and I became friends at that time, and he came from, of course, California, producing some shows, and now he stayed around and does a lot of good things for Marion.
Tagging alligators. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Like what you see on TV, swamp people tagging alligators.
We were ahead of ourselves. Had I known that this would have been a thing, getting out in the swamps and getting these gators and basically getting, we were just ahead. Didn't even think that people would like to watch that. But we went out, this guy's name was Cliff Berg. He was a billionaire's son, and he had this alligator, part of the Everglades, that his daddy had bought for him, and an alligator farm. He goes, well, everybody else was in construction stuff. He goes, Cliff, what do you want to do? And he goes, I want to have an alligator farm. So we go out just like frog gigging. You'd have a light, and you only tag the little ones. So you'd look, and the eyes would light up, and you'd reach down and grab a gator up, and then they'd tag it. So, but if you seen the eyes wider, you didn't reach down and grab it.
Well, you could. There goes Bill.
There goes, again.
And the alligator starts rolling over, you're done.
Yeah, it was a very interesting life. Had a great time, doing it. The bear hunt was fun in Alberta. I mean, from Indiana, never seeing a bear in the wild, and all of a sudden here comes one. And then he's looking at you, a tree. He starts climbing up, and you're taking the arrow.
I'd be done right there.
Yeah. But it was just amazing to see these bears. And then Newfoundland, loved it. It was fun.
You remember Punk Good?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, his son Jason in Florida used to hunt alligators.
Okay.
But the big ones.
Oh yeah.
He'd jump on them and hold their mouth shut. Bigger man than I.
Oh, yeah.
Ever want to be.
Yeah, no, I'm not jumping in.
No.
And you knew how Punk was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jason was just like him, only bigger.
Oh, wow. Wow. I will tell a quick story about Cliff Berg. The guy was probably only about 5'9", but just built like a little tree stump, barefooted all the time. And he had a big old scar on his head. And he was kind of what you're talking about, Punk Goods. We'd be at Canal, and he'd just go in, bring out these big turtles or get little gators. But I mean, he quit chasing an armadillo, and he goes, oh, he'll catch it. He'll be back. He'll be all scratched up. This Cliff telling us this guy hung around with him. So finally, I said, what happened to your head? He goes, well, we went into town, and he goes, I went in and was playing pool. And I said, so they let you go in barefoot? He goes, no, if I go into town, they make me put shoes on. And he's got that real southern drawl anyway. And he goes, but we was playing pool, and I got into it, and the guy took a cue ball and hit me upside the head.
Mm.
I said, wow. He goes, yeah. He goes, it hurt. He goes, I went out in the truck. I said, so what'd you do, leave? He goes, no. He goes, I went out there and got a construction staple, and I stapled my head together. And I went back in there, and I worked over like 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And no wonder it was all been up with a construction staple. But the guy never wore shoes. And like I said, built like a tree stump.
Obviously didn't feel pain.
Apparently not. Because,
jeez.
I mean, his head was split.
He stapled it shut.
Stapled it shut. Yeah.
My gosh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'll be right back.
And that's what I would have done
Yes.
if I could have came back.
Yeah, I would have been asleep for a while probably. Well, I think that's about all we got for today's show.
Great interview.
Yes,
Enjoyed it.
fantastic interview. Bill needs to get home and help Sandy pack.
I do. I'm going to be in trouble.
I just tell her it was me.
Yeah, I will.
She'll
Yeah,
be
blame
fine.
it on Lamar.
I will.
Yeah, you can blame it on me. We're excited to see what's going to happen with Gas City in the
Yes.
next few years and
Yeah.
beyond. And you obviously have some great ideas. You've surrounded yourself with some great people. And
Wish you luck.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
Looking really forward to
well.
what we got here is the tip of the iceberg, I believe.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting to hear.
thanks for being with us today, Bill.
I appreciate you guys having me on. And like I said, if I'm wrong on the political part, I will stand corrected. But I think that was all correct or close to it.
Maybe we'll have you back. We'll do some more fireside chats without the fire in this
Okay.
studio.
And you guys are welcome to come to the
Great.
fireside chat when we have it, too.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
you
Thanks
guys.
again.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at MailboxOrange and on Instagram at @orange_mailbox. You can also go to our website at www.theorangemailbox.podbean.com and check out all of our episodes. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search for The Orange Mailbox and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you, so if you have any comments or show ideas, drop us an email at feedback@theorangemailbox.com or visit us on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, always go to the mailbox expecting.